Good evening. This is the news. An Air Atlanta flight had to be redirected back to JFK after a horse got loose in the cargo hold.
Oh.
Surprising news for anyone who thought Sarah Jessica Parker flies private.
Major grocery stores announced plans to scale back their self-checkout stations because citing unreliability, efficiency, lack of human connection, which is great for extroverts and really bad for everybody that likes to steal groceries.
After a massive freeway fire in Los Angeles, residents were furious that it even happened in the first place. LA County officials responded, "Do you want us to take care of the homeless problem or not?"
That's how it's done. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Normal World. I'm Dave Landau.
I'm quarterback Garrett.
And as always, with us is the lovely Angela.
Yeah, what's up?
But joining us today, one of my friends hosted the Tinfoil podcast. And I want you to check out... I'm going to have him talk about it.
Because he knows what it is.
He knows more of what it is. Please welcome Sam Tripoli.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Good to be back in the D, dog.
Well, where can we find chaostwins.com, right?
I just go to Okay, basically what's happening is for the first time in my life, I've decided to do a family-friendly entertainment project because I was watching television with my kids and it's all this woke crap. So I'm like, I want to do something that parents could enjoy that could read to their kids. So I have daughters. I have twin daughters, and we used to take them to these indoor playgrounds, and everyone would get excited when they came in. I'd be like, the Chaos Twins are here. So it's chaostwins.com. It's a comic book. We've already raised a good number just to get the comics done, but if we keep going, our goal is to get an animation going. So I'm very excited about it.
Hell yeah, that's great.
Thank you, man. I'm excited about it. I've never done anything clean and wholesome before. I'm a scumbag, bro.
Yeah, it's
a heart of gold, though. Heart of gold.
You always want to try it. Like once you have kids, you're like, I want to do something for them.
Yeah.
And then you look at your body of work and you're like, it's nothing. Like I don't want them to see what I've done.
They're gonna hold a press conference apologizing for everything I said. It's not us. We didn't pick him.
Yeah, we didn't know you would find all of that. We didn't know that.
I don't know what's
the
worse.
internet was forever.
I don't know what would be worse. Your kids find your porn stash or your old stand-up sets.
Or the fact that you did both kind of at once because you did the naughty show.
Yeah. That was a good time. We didn't realize how good we had it.
Oh, dude, those were great days for you guys.
Those are great days.
That's where you met Ken who works here.
The man, the myth, the legend.
That's cool.
I'm just trying to get him to hook up with black strippers in the D. That's all I'm trying to do.
That's what we've been telling him to do.
That's what the D's
Let's
for him.
go, Ken. Let's go.
We're not kidding. We have been trying to collect piles of money to be like, just go.
He's too busy playing Switch. It's okay.
I know.
Understand.
Can I tell a quick funny story involving? So Ken had a buddy, and we had a friend named C. Hang, right? And C. Hang was a Hmong, and he was about 26, 27 years old when we were hanging out. And it turned out he was a virgin, right? So we're like, we gotta get you laid, bro. You gotta get this done. So we're like, we'll just get you a hooker, bro. So we decided to do what we called a world tour of the Southwest of America. So we basically did LA, San Diego, Phoenix, and I think there was one more stop. And everywhere we went, we go, okay, we're putting out a hat, throw some money in, and as much money as we got was the level of hooker we were going to get for C. Hang. We told him, if we get like 1,000, you're getting a high-end hooker. But if we get like $20, we're going down to Santa Monica, and you're gonna get a cross-dresser, bro. And he's like, whatever happens, happens. So anyways, one of my buddies, Jason Tebow's girlfriend at the time, Danielle, she had a friend who's like a super freak, and she's literally like, I'll bang him for free. So one day we're doing a show, we're counting the money, how much money, and we only made like $100. So he was going to Santa Monica, right? And this chick raised her and she's like, I'll do him for free. She was a good looking girl. Yeah. So anyway, it ends up happening. And she goes, he actually knew what he's doing because it's like, these kids all grew up with porn, so it was almost like watching game tape at that time. They were getting ready for the big game.
Just studying.
Yeah, they studying positions and moves and all that stuff. Doing post-game conference
as opposed to everybody else where it's just
notes.
Awkward and then you're sorry.
Yeah, it's weird.
Ashamed.
Yeah, you're very ashamed. It was never like, yeah, that was right.
Let's do that again.
It was always just like, I hurt you, didn't I, with my finger? Do you want to continue?
Just saying I'm sorry the whole time.
Yeah, you're like, you're, saying, you're crying.
Like, I'm sorry.
You're apologizing to God.
It's too real.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's nice that you went to that many places too, and people are like, I'll give him 50 cents.
Like, yeah, well, I'll toss it in the hat.
$1
Like, that's the level of compassion.
They probably didn't even know what a
man.
mung was. They thought it was probably something from like Lord of the Rings or
Yeah, they're
something.
like, you're trying to get a fish laid? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Dude, that's great though.
Anyways, check out my family-friendly project at chaostwins.com.
Chaostwins.com. Yes.
That's family.
Check it out.
Yeah.
We wanted to play this for you. Jim Downey, who was one of the writers for SNL, was on the Conan O'Brien podcast. Jim Downey was with Norm Macdonald when he did Weekend Update, did so much writing with him. He's one of my favorite writers of all time. And people, well, let's just watch it and see what you think of all this.
Much has been said about Jeffrey Epstein. Terrible things.
No, Jeff. I'm talking about Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Yes, we're talking about the same Jeff Epstein.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I never heard.
Oh, it was a big story in the news. Huge.
No.
Yes, for you to say no one ever
Jeff
said.
Epstein.
Yes.
Jeff Epstein.
Yes, the financier.
With the island.
Yes, he had an island that I've never been to. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, with respect, if there was some news about Jeff Epstein, I would have heard.
No, I don't know what rock you've been under. It was a huge story, and Jeff Epstein I have to tell you, he's gone. He's dead.
What do you mean?
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Sorry, nice try.
So yeah, it
So
goes,
people believe that.
Yeah, people.
I thought it was-
He even says like at one point, Jim's like, "Let's call Ghislaine," and he's like, "You can't. She's in jail." He's like, why would she be in jail?
It's ridiculous.
So people think this is real. Like it's going around the internet, and they're like, "Well, he's related to Robert Downey Jr., who went there, and whatever." And it's like Jim Downey is a brilliant comedic mind, and that to me couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah,
Like
it's a bit.
the fact that he's calling him Jeff alone.
Yeah.
I think a big problem in
Jeff.
comedy now is nobody gets sarcasm.
Yeah.
It's
just
in
deadpan.
LA, sarcasm is a felony, right? But
Sure.
like within the truth community, they don't get the joke a lot. What's her name? The Catch Me Outside girl. What's her name?
We just talked about her. We just talked about
Babe or something like that.
Bad
Bad babe.
Bad
baby.
Bad
Bobby.
Whatever her name is, right? So she goes on she got famous going on Dr. Phil. Well, she starts doing this rant about her and David Spade at these special parties where they eat goats and all. And it's so obvious that she is effing with everybody. But everyone's like, see, they do these things. It's like you
saying
can't
the
take
quiet part.
Yeah, you can't take everything literal.
No, and it's not. David Spade doesn't have the career in that sense. Like he's huge. But it's not Tom Cruise or like Brad.
He's tiny,
Yeah.
but he's huge.
Yes, but it's
I
like
love David Spade, but
he's
yeah.
a comic. Like
Yeah,
he made it being a
100%.
comic.
It was so obvious what it was, and people were losing it. They're like, "Oh my god!" This, and even the guy from Imagine Dragons was like, "Oh man, we made a deal with this thing, and oh man, we made a deal. We went to these special parties. Everyone's like, look, he's admitting to it." I'm like, trust me, Imagine Dragons did not sell their soul.
No, the guy talks about being bullied in high school and how he made it and how happy he is.
Yeah,
Like,
what?
he's just still going after you.
Yeah, 100%.
Half his songs are an FU to everybody who ever treated him like crap.
100%. It's so ridiculous.
That's the thing about conspiracy theories is like people get overly like gung ho about everything's a conspiracy theory when there are things that are legit like fishy,
It muddies the
questionable.
waters.
Yeah, it muddies the water when everything is a conspiracy.
Well, it's also that like when someone's new to conspiracy, they just want to be Paul Revere and ride like the lizard people are coming, right? You know, and so they're very passionate about it, and their eyes are wide open, and now they just want to save everybody, and then after you do it for a while, you're like, okay, people are just idiots, and these things are happening, but I can't really save anybody. I just want to save myself, and that's kind of where you get to, and it just and like every group has idiots in it. right? There's
Yes,
every group has
absolutely, yeah.
idiots, whether it's on the right, the left, the truthers, the conformists. They all have idiots in it. But for some reason, conspiracy theorists, idiots get more credit than they should.
Yeah.
Because they don't represent everybody. They represent a small group. But to the people who refuse to believe in conspiracies because they just want to be sleep. They just want to sleep. They don't want to know anything. Those people irritate them. So that's all they want to really talk about. Nobody keeps score with what's going on. Like my batting average in conspiracies is like 950.
Right. Yeah.
I'm crushing it right now.
You're like
Nobody's going back.
JFK, MLK, those are freaking real. Come on, allegedly, but real.
They're all
And then all these other ones, yeah.
How much shit is real, and just nobody goes back and checks out the record, like the score. They just keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So nobody really cares, and they never learn from the last conspiracy turned out to be true. So maybe I should question this one. Nope, just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
They're like goldfish. They only care what's in front of them.
Well, of course. And if you look back you look back on certain things, but people are afraid. They don't want to know everything for sure. They don't want to know everything for certain. And a lot of times conspiracies, I think, happen because it's the most convenient outlet now, because it's like, well, we've done all this. We might as well just team up and see how it ruins everythty we don't get in trouble, you know? Like, what was the first thing that you kind of got it? Because when I first met you, 12, 13, 14, whatever years ago, like you weren't into this as much. Like you always had an interest, but what really got you like hooked? Like,
okay, so without getting into it, because I don't know who watches this show, is the first conspiracy that woke me up was Santa Claus. Right? Okay. Which is a giant blackmailing scheme, okay? If you really think about it. We won't get into it.
He's actually a handicap blackmail at Target right now.
We've confirmed
selling.
Right. So then after that, the next big thing that really rocked my world, hand to God, was the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan getting busted in a car together, drunk, and it just shattered my world. You're like, you guys aren't supposed to get along with each other. Now you guys are drinking together. Everything is a lie. I was shocked. I remember going, you guys don't like each other. Yeah. Now you're drinking together. Oh, you guys are lying. You guys are big liars, bro. And my world was shattered. And then the next big thing that really opened my eyes is I remember when Bill Clinton, I started reading Noam Chomsky's books about, manufacturing consent and all that stuff. And I started realizing everything isn't. But then I remember when Bill Clinton, he went to Trent Lott was getting his portrait in the Library of Congress.
Right.
And it was like Trent Lott, Orrin Hatch, Newt Gingrich, and Bill Clinton. And like 3 years earlier, they were just going at it, calling for everyone to go to prison. Now they're all laughing together. And I go, it's all bullshit. And I never, ever was into politics again after that. They were all together. And even if you bought into Obama for a short time, you instantly knew, he's full of shit too.
Of course.
It's all a clown show.
It's like everything is controlled. And, and that's the whole thing about, I don't know how much you guys want to get into that, but the Bill Burr and his wife flipping off Trump. It's like, I'm sorry, I have more respect for that than I fucking do all these people giving fucking George Bush a standing O at like Rangers games.
Yeah, and he was the devil.
Yeah,
he was
like,
the devil when he was the president.
All this. So
when he's sitting next to Ellen, that's when it really should show everybody. Like you realize that it's all fake.
We're talking about his dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
It was George W. Bush.
George Bush Jr.
No, Jr. was eating with Ellen. Yeah.
I know, but I thought you were talking about George Bush Sr.
No. George Bush. No, he was.
He was also CIA, and then he was a terrible one-term president.
Yeah.
And then, Jr. came along.
Yeah, but I think that whole thing was just bullshit. If you ever go watch that debate between George Bush, Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot, the guy who came in last was Bill Clinton. He's like deer in the headlights. The other two guys are old dudes just slinging it.
Well, Ross Perot was great.
Ross Perot was
played a saxophone.
And that's exactly
That's
it.
really why he won. You kind of took the black vote at that point. That's why he's like, I'll do
100%.
Arsenio. Like he played an
What about Careless Whisper?
Yeah.
They're like, all right.
An entirely different way of doing it. Where if anybody at that time, I was younger, but Ross Perot was the one that people were like, I like this guy, but he was the outsider. I mean, nobody would have ever thought Donald Trump would have ever came into play when they were like, I don't know about Ross Perot. It's too iffy.
If you watch that old Al Gore, Ross Perot debate on Larry King, He was right about everything.
Yes.
Everything. And then the craziest thing, because I do this thing on, I have all my premium content on a website called rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com. And I do these deep conspiracy rewinds where we go back to like news reports or docs from like decades ago. And I broke down that interview, and like Al Gore literally told everybody, yeah, they're going to ship all the jobs overseas. And nobody said a word about it. Nobody goes, hey, how does that help us? Because it didn't, but he just put it out there and nobody cared.
That's the thing is like a lot of the WEF, they tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Like they had I think I've talked
Clinton
about it before. They did the model of what would happen if there was a mass epidemic, and how we would respond to that. And then next year, what was that? 2020.
Yeah.
And it hit.
And then Clinton was the one who signed NAFTA, but he did it on the way out. So then Bush took that. But I mean, they are in bed together. But at the same time, people don't realize that was a North American Free Trade Agreement or Foreign Trade Agreement, whichever one it was. But it screwed Americans over on jobs in a way that had never been done before.
100%.
2001, 9/11 happens.
And then there even get deeper is like the U.S. military was going around these countries going, if you allow us to put bases in, you could have a trade agreement with America where you can send your goods over there, no tariff, but you can tariff the fuck out of our goods. And I'm like, how does that help America? Well, it was meant to not help America. It was basically meant to bottom out the middle class. So if there's no jobs, what are you going to do? You're just going to join the military at that point, right?
Military-industrial complex.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's brutal. Well, we had 2 soldiers on last night, which is like it's easier for one of them to get their daughter a sex change than a hearing aid.
It is
fucking disgusting.
unbelievable.
And that's real, and that's through the VA.
Okay, you're a deaf boy now. Act like you're a deaf boy.
Yeah, just act.
That's crazy.
All right, listen, you have to tuck it, but I want you to hear again. That's what we have to do.
We have to. Okay.
Did you guys hear about this Twin Flames thing?
What's
No.
that?
Okay, so there's this documentary
Oh,
on
I
Netflix
watched
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
Twin Flames.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's this culty thing, but basically,
It was in Michigan.
of course, they convinced these people. Okay, so
Of course.
for every lonely person on the internet, there's this twin flame that you have, right? And it's a cult thing. So there was a lot more women that joined it than men. Okay. And so they can't match them up now. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? Actually, you're trans. You're going to need to get a sex change operation. You're a man now because we need to connect you. When we have way more women than men, we messed up there. We should have thought that through. We'll just actually, you're trans. You just didn't realize you were. You're going to need a sex change operation. And these people are doing it.
Well, the whole transgender thing is a psyop anyways. Like
I don't believe that.
the way that
YouTube just pulled the episode.
No, there are legitimate people that have gender dysphoria and have issues like that for sure. There are
But you've
people.
called it a mental illness. Now they've pulled it again.
Then the way it's been pushed onto culture, I think, is the psyop. It's more of a cool thing to do. Like you're just being yourself when it's like you're really getting pushed into
But
this.
what's the end game for that?
There's so many people doing it now. Like let's just say like hypothetically there's a movie you're watching and there's a vaccination that may have hurt people, and then there's this really easy way to get people not to procreate. It creates the same thing. It lessens the population, and all of a sudden it becomes very, very popular all at once. I think it's so obvious in this movie what the ending is what I'm saying in this hypothetical movie.
Totally right.
And it hooks you on medical treatments for the rest of your life. So then you're dedicated to Big Pharma the entire rest of your life.
Yep. And if you get into this fake movie, this movie script that you're talking about,
The one that we're working on,
which is really great, and
no
it
way
needs
real.
a couple punch ups,
Yeah.
you know, so there's some comedy in it. But if you really get into it, like the big plot of this script that I saw that you sent me is the inversion. Everything's an inversion.
Yeah.
And the big point of this movie is that if you invert everything, it gets you farther from God. And the farther you get from God, the more you start, your anxiety goes up, your depression goes up, and you start. And so in this movie, the culture of the time is like numb out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right? Like in the movie, like people are starting to feel like depression, sadness, and anger, and they look at those as bad things, not the universe telling them, hey man, you're not on the correct path that this character is supposed to be on. But what's really happening, so what does this character do? They go to this doctor who's just probably got a drug addiction, owes money, loves the cash from this evil corporation in this movie, right?
Right.
And put you on that thing, and now it numbs you out so you continue down this journey that maybe the universe didn't want this character to be in.
Well, yeah, this character gets farther and farther away from like a moral compass and where they were raised, and they're actually being applauded by society to be that, and then that way everybody starts following that path, and it's getting farther and farther away. And like you had mentioned, both of you earlier, in this script, the middle class is being eradicated, which also takes away
the B-plot.
The entire pride of the entire country where this movie takes place and what it stands for. The idea of freedom, the idea of family, the idea putting family above anything else, even above capitalism or anything else, is something that is going to be in the past. Yeah. Because now you have insanely rich ideology being pumped down your throat every day. Like, so you look at a phone for it and it's like, hey, this 9-year-old made $300 million selling cupcakes, and you're like, well, I work at Dollar Tree and I didn't buy a razor
100%.
Right. So it's like it's effective.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's all been effective.
Yes.
That's the reality. And then of course you add into these 4 major news corporations. Is it 4?
Yeah, I think we were going to go with 5.
Was it 5?
It could be 4 or 5.
Yeah, in this movie script.
In the script, yeah.
We're going to have an all-black newscast in the thing, so
Correct.
just to keep it woke.
Oh, yeah, we have to. Well, we need it to get
Nowadays.
made. We have to have it get financed and really hard.
Right.
There's no way this movie can flop.
Yeah,
unless
Disney's
we do
gonna buy the script. They're gonna produce it. They're run by BlackRock, top 3 donors to their stocks. Also WB, also Universal, also all of those.
And
have
if you
BlackRock
get into
in the top 3.
story, we discover that BlackRock's true origin goes all the way back to something called the Black Cube, which is a dark, which in this script is dark occult magic, and that's what this all is. Everything, every major scene in this movie is visible hand of some sort of agency that is creating manifest events to get the people to high anxiety so they're easily manipulated within the movie. And you talked about the family here. Within the movie, we see the father being basically having his nuts cut off at every single moment, and they're literally and figuratively trying to teach the younger characters in this movie not to respect anybody from any of the older generations. And like, so when in the movie, we see a lot of like all these old icons and stories and all this stuff being flipped. And you have one guy going, hey, that's not good. And everyone called him, oh, why do you care that this fictitious character went from a white mermaid to a black mermaid? It's just an animation. And you're like, you know what? You're right. It is just an animation. But when you take all the other things they flipped and all the statues they've taken down and all the history they've rewritten, what you begin to understand is that the grandchild doesn't have the same information as the grandfather, and therefore he can't pass down any information to help him get a running start in life. Why the elites in our movie, they're passing down all the information to the next generation so they get a giant head start on everything.
In investing, in education, in everything is a leg up in life. And that's where that idea of privilege comes in.
Yes.
And you color code the privilege and you say, okay, well, these are your enemies. This group says your enemies. It just depends on what channel you have to watch. But it will make you angry and it will make you hate those other people while these people get away with anything that they want to.
Yes. It's a crazy movie.
You fight while I do what I want.
Well, I make all the money while you guys are fighting.
It's called 2023 The Musical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Be really good.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Yeah. If everything goes according to plan, 2024 is going to be even crazier.
Here we go.
I hear,
good luck.
I hear it's going to be a riot.
Well, you know what's so funny? Like we read this story. Oh, 100%. But you get into that. You get into that story about the 10 in Vegas in L.A.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about that. Yeah,
is that a homeless guy going crazy, or is it part of these military-age men that have been like just coming through the border all the time? And that's a big issue. Like I talked about it on Rogan, but I had a woman on my podcast named Mel K, and she says based on her research and the people she's talked to that are very high up in certain places, they're saying the next big thing will be immigration riots.
Here's what was crazy to me. I was doing Jimmy Fails, that Fox Saturday Night Show, and we left and we went to go get something to eat, and we walked by the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City.
Yeah.
And there was a line down the block, around the corner in New York City, and then you could see all the people, all the illegal immigrants up through the staircases. And by the time we were done eating dinner, they were all checked in and had disappeared, which if it was for any other event wouldn't have happened. It would be impossible. But we were walking by and he's like, look at this. Have you ever seen anything like this? And it was one of many hotels just in New York in the broad daylight. This is like a month and a half ago. So what is that? Like, why is that?
Okay, let me ask you something, Dave. Have you ever shot a movie? Have you ever been on a TV show?
Yes.
Yes. So when you got to go somewhere, what do? They give you a flight. They take care of your transportation.
Yes.
They put you up in a hotel, and they give you a per diem. What are they doing with these illegals?
Same.
They're paying for their flights to come in. They're putting them up in hotels, and they're giving them per diems. You cannot attack America from outside with a Navy. You have to come in slowly through there before they see what's happening.
Well, we had people here, and she's been public about it, but I won't say names, but it's like a husband who was in Israel.
Yeah.
And to get them out was a congressman or a senator ended up going over there and like renting a bus.
It was a congressman from Florida.
A congressman from Florida went over there and rented a bus to get them out of there. And there was basically, Biden was like, we'll fly you anywhere, but you have to pay your expenses once you get back for everything that we gave you. So it's like, not only did the country not rescue them, this guy did it on his own dime. These are American citizens trapped in a war zone.
This is the second time Biden has done this.
Yes.
He is, you know, the election stuff's starting to come out, and, you know, and he's been put in to take all the bad credit. They're going to put it all on him, so everyone blames him for it. But he's not in charge of anything.
Oh, exactly.
He's the puppet.
He's the puppet.
Who do you think they're
guy.
setting up for the next guy? I think it's Gavin. I think they're setting Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom,
clear.
they're going to try. I mean, and like, his kind of moxie and his bravado lets me think he thinks they've already got it rigged for him. There's no way. After what happened in San Francisco recently,
He's got a real lizard person.
he's going to just walk right in there.
That's why, is like, especially when he flubbed. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I thought we killed the homeless and didn't. Oh, I mean, hey, what's up, newscasts?
Oops.
How's everybody?
You see, that's so funny. Like, he delivered it, and everyone thought he was joking, and they were waiting for the punchline, and it never came.
And his
because
handlers.
he's not that creative, and he's like, a lot of you guys are saying we did this because Xi Jinping and these other people here, and you know what? You're right, because you're right.
the truth.
And they're like, and where's the joke?
He's so evil that if you wrote him into a movie, you'd like the character. You know what I mean? But the fact that he's real is
He's
alarming.
He's American Psycho.
Yes.
You'd be like, this is
Actually,
over the top. This is over the top a little bit.
Yeah, you're like in a movie though, you'd be like, wow, this is really how they made this character and where they put him. It's unbelievable. And then you're like, holy, this dude runs something.
It's unbelievable. And so if you talk to 99% of the people in California, they could not tell you who the Republican was that was running against Gavin Newsom in the last election because they all work together. Both sides work together. I've had one guest, and she's super deep into it. She's a lawyer, Lindsay. I forget what her last name is, but she's the only one who could name who ran. No, everybody asked. And they're into politics. Who was the Republican candidate that ran against Gavin Newsom for California? Nobody knows. It was the worst election ever, and he was primed to get beat. Throw the whole game.
And
Only 4 families have ran California for the last 100 years. The Browns, the Pelosi's, the Gettys, and it's one other family. I forget the name of them. They've ran it for 4, and they all just take turns.
And you look too of the way that people vote, and then they locally, like with their wallet. Like Bret Easton Ellis, who wrote American Psycho, wrote a book called White that's really good, and he named it that because it is polarizing. But it really was about looking at it where like how they been using like even that word to kind of piss people off. And this is a gay author who wrote, American Psycho. He's one of my favorite authors. But when you look at, I highly recommend anybody read the book White, because it comes from that perspective where he's like, I live in Beverly Hills, where he's like, trust me, it's all red. They just don't, they're never going to admit it, but that's exactly who they're, like, they all care about their own pocketbook way before, like locally, all that stuff. But
I think Beverly Hills was very anti-mask too. Like,
oh yeah,
they pushed back again. Huntington Beach was like that as well. The problem in Los Angeles,
how did they get so stepped on?
Well, the thing is Hollywood is the heart of these progressives. It's like New York City, San Francisco. These people complain about everything: homelessness, crime, gas prices, inflation. But what's worse than that is being known for voting for the other side. So voting for the other side, in theory, is much more dangerous than actual what is going on in front of you in your neighborhood. So it will never change. And most of them have so much money they can insulate themselves from all the problems for the most part. But that's starting to change as well.
Well, my former agent had a very nice house in Beverly Hills, and it was a guy who was homeless with a goat sleeping on his lawn on a bed. Like, he would send me pictures of it. And all of his neighbors were like, how is this happening? He's like, because you voted for it.
Yeah.
But they don't even realize that, like, this is the result of it. If you don't want to see homeless people throughout, like, Beverly Hills and then do something about it. But the reality is we don't care about the homeless. We don't care about mentally ill. We bring in illegal immigrants. Like, the idea that there's any compassion to any of that shows how out of whack it is. Like, even going to L.A. to do the Ice House and to do your shows earlier in the year and to do the Comedy Store. I hadn't been to L.A. in years because of the pandemic. Dude, that used to be like you land and you're like, this place is amazing. It was just tents.
Yep.
People with the nicest tents over underpasses.
Yep.
It was like something I was shocked.
It is shocking.
Skid Row became the entire town.
Exactly. I've never been there before, and I went there for the first time this summer. And I went in thinking, like, sure, it's going to be bad, but it's not going to be as bad. Like, it's going to be overblown. Got there, it is shockingly run down. Everything has like a black skim like dripping off of it. There's layers and layers of trash. There's like movie posters from like 13 years ago still up on walls and things. And there's just like tents and tents and tents and like multi-million-dollar houses with a tent city right in front of it. It was the wildest thing.
Here's the things about the tents. They have floors.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's multi-level tents. There's multi-level duplexes of tents. And you go, how do they get all these high-end tents? Well, what you bring up is that there's so much money in fixing the homeless. But if you actually fix the homeless, there's no money in it. So what California does is tells everybody for the longest time, send us your homeless. Because the more homeless that come here, the more money we could all make. Yeah. So they don't actually ever fix it. It's just like, oh, I got a salary for working with the homeless. And if these homeless go away, there goes my salary. So nobody fixes anything ever.
It's tragic. There's so many layers of tragic. There's the homeless, which are on their own, very sad. I wish that we could find a way to help them into a home or help with their mental health. And then you have this layer where it's like the American dream is to go to Hollywood and be a part of this, be a star. You can go there and you can see it, but it's covered in layers and layers of trash. Like, you're driving through these Art Deco. God. Yeah, but it's like you can, like, it was there at one point. And I went to the
for men.
The Star Walk.
I'm just saying.
I went to the Star Walk.
You used to have to blow a Warner brother.
one of them.
And then eventually it became Wondrous. But yeah, there was times.
Then they got beat
at some
too,
point,
and then everything got ruined. Yep. Like, I don't even know why I'm in LA anymore. The industry sucks. The sluts are Me Tooing everybody, and the coke has fentanyl. Why am I there?
You were saying so many people are leaving.
They all are. All the outlaws are gone. All the outlaws are gone.
Let me tell you about an outlaw, guys.
Oh.
Let's talk about the movie The Blind real quick, if you don't mind. You know, what's not a conspiracy is the fact that The Blind takes you on an incredible journey through the life of Phil Robertson.
Oh, man.
And if you want to watch that, I highly suggest you do. That's not a Hollywood movie. This is just a true story that you can relate to as a family, and you can watch it with your family. Look at the man, he's a legend. He goes through his trials, his triumphs, everything through his life, and I highly recommend it. You can go to blazetv.com/theblind, and for only $19.99, that's like going to the movies.
Yeah, think about popcorn, the gas to get there. You got to get all your kids at the same time to go to the movies.
It's no good.
It's one movie ticket.
It's one movie ticket. Yeah. That's it. So go
Support independent.
Exactly. It's independent. Support it. Go to blazetv.com/theblind and learn about this blind farmhand who was able to make it big and see again.
Yeah, look at that. It's a miracle.
He wasn't blind? This seeing able farm man.
Oh, it's like a hunting blind.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We've been doing this wrong the whole
God,
time.
all week we've been doing it.
I
thought it was
I didn't
disabled in
see.
some way.
Oh, no. Oh, well.
No one
Sorry.
watches.
I thought it was a poker movie.
Yeah, I did. I did tell you that just to get you to buy it. I'm like, you like poker, right?
Oh.
Okay. So back anyway.
Sam.
You know what's very interesting about Hollywood, to finish this up, is that this one tourist website like TripAdvisor or somebody put out the top 100 tourist destinations, and Hollywood Boulevard was bragging about that they were in the top 100 tourist destinations, but what they didn't tell anybody is that they came in at 100.
Really?
They were I don't know why.
It should be one, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Listen, all the cool shit is behind closed doors that you don't get invited to.
Right.
So why would you go there? It's like go to the beaches, maybe, but I wouldn't go to where can I bring my
Griffith
family?
Park
Not
is the
LA.
only place. I was gonna say, I went to the Star Walk, and you can see there's families that brought their kids there that have no idea what it's really like, and they have little 6-year-olds, and they're like, "Come on, let's walk." I just wanted to see the John Wayne Star.
It's weed shops. It's dildo stores. It just
Venice Beach. Do you remember when it was a beach and just people having fun and kind of hippie-ish like 20 years ago? Like it was always
Austin.
freaky. Like the first time I went there was a homeless guy and another homeless guy jumping off of the dude's back into a baby pool of broken glass, and he would give you Price is Right tickets that I don't think were legit. But it was still like that was the craziest thing you would see. Maybe a guy washing his balls in a drinking fountain, but other than that, it was like, dude, it was like Muscle Beach. Like
Yeah.
it was like like you get pizza. Then
Skateboarders and stuff. There's like a scene there.
And
Well,
now,
even
yeah.
2016, I was there, and it was that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just like it's just people sleeping and then head shops.
Yep, 100%, and it just goes along with that. The middle class is getting ran out, and then it's not everybody can be a TikTok celebrity or a doctor and a lawyer. There's a lot of people that just work with their hands to build stuff, and those jobs aren't here anymore. Yeah. So I just tell everybody there's a lot of money to make in the internet. Figure it out. You can do it. So many of our homeless people are from the foster care system. They never got taught anything, and I feel for them. Yeah. Reagan got rid of the psych wards. We need to bring those back.
Absolutely,
man.
and that was out of virtue. That was to look, we didn't do it right. They look horrible. They were mistreated. So let's just get rid of them.
And
then where did all those people go that needed help?
Do you know who's really weird? Greg Giraldo. Greg. What was the guy who had the talk show?
Geraldo. Yeah, he did the sanitarium thing where he
was awesome,
it. Yeah.
On a side note, but
the comic was great.
He was great.
Geraldo is like this giant. Do you know who released the Zapruder film to America?
we were just actually discussing this.
Geraldo.
But it was because of Dick Gregory.
But listen to this. So Geraldo releases that. I just did this podcast. Do you know who helped kick off Ruby Ridge? Do you know the story of Ruby Ridge?
I do know the story.
FBI,
No
way.
Which set up the Branch Davidian stuff in Waco.
Right.
Which set up OKC. Do you know who was involved in that?
No. Geraldo
Rivera was on a plane, on a helicopter, and he called the FBI. They're like, they're shooting at us. Later on, the pilot came out and said, no, that's not true at all. I had a guy named Austin Picard on my show who broke this all down. So he's like part of all these weird kind of psyops. And the next one he shows up with is he's all part of shutting down these psych wards. He's like, look at how they're treating these people. Yeah. You're like, he's just like this weird guy who shows up and kind of pushes this narrative for people.
Which is an astonishing thing to go, I can't believe how they're treated. Let's put them on the streets.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and shut these all down.
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And people are like, that's good. You're right. We should give them nothing and no
free
shelter.
them to the wild.
Unbelievable,
and
bro.
take away their medicines.
Yeah, that'll work.
And it's like, when were they really bad to them? And this was the 80s. They're like 20 years ago, they would do these things where they made you like ride the lightning a bit. Yeah. Well, what about now? No, we've gotten better. Shut it down.
Shut it all down.
That's unbelievable. I never even thought about that.
It's crazy, and that's what they did. And to see that, because I was in a psych ward when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, in high school. But it was really hard to even get in one, and it was really like you could really only have a limited stay. And I ended up going to a rehab because it was like a separate thing where they're like, well, clearly it's not, psychosis. It's you're an alcoholic.
You're just a junkie.
But they would do it for kids. But now there's also the difference in rehabilitation. It's very hard. Like the place where I went to rehab, you can't go there now as a juvenile. You can only go there as an adult. Like the way that the stuff's switching and everything like that. It's crazy the way the healthcare system's working right now because the people who need that help can't get it.
Yeah.
That's why every one of these people that talk about mental health, it's the most boring conversation I've ever heard. Because nothing has changed since the 80s.
Well, it's also that like so much of our mental health stuff is just like get on these pills.
Right.
So like everything
Get on the pills that numb you.
Right.
You get you right back into that numb state.
And it's also like, man, here, go on this app and talk to a therapist, and they're going to put you on a prescription. You're going to take some kind of psych med, and you're just going to numb out and just keep going down the same way. It's like, and everything now is a mental illness. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel good. Back in the day, you would use that as motivation to get out of what you want to do. Now you're trying not to feel that, not to fix it, but just not to feel it. And it's all dark arts, dude. It sounds crazy, but it's all dark arts.
Well, everyone has anxiety because it's a natural feeling. There's overwhelming anxiety, but there is you should be anxious because some things are more important than others. I mean, there's a logic to that.
It's evolutionary.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's like part
survival.
of you.
Yes,
100%.
So to take that instinct away from somebody that's naturally given to you all the time makes very little sense.
Nobody goes, why am I depressed? What it is like, how can I not be depressed? Oh, take this. I'm not depressed. It's like, well, you're still doing the same shit that was driving you nuts before. You haven't changed up anything. Like something I learned in recovery was you got to make change for change to happen. You can't just hope that change happens. You actually have to be active in your recovery and whatever it is. So I remember a friend of mine was like, I'm like, you should try mushrooms back when I thought mushrooms were a good thing. Or I don't think they're bad, but I'm not getting into the woo-woo as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I did mushrooms one time and I heard this voice that said to me, you're exactly where you need to be. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And I was like, well, okay. And then I never worried about my career after that. But I told this girl, she should try shrooms. And she's like, I'm not going to try shrooms. I go, why? She goes, because it told me to quit comedy. And I was just like,
that's what the shroom said.
Maybe.
You're like,
she's super funny. That's not it. But
you're like, were the shrooms everyone behind your back?
Right. So it's like interesting where we just don't want to feel anything anymore.
Yeah.
And part of that though is getting over the fact that people will do that to you. They don't like you. They will hate you, and you have to just get over it. I mean, that's the shittiest thing about now, and I think for kids and us raising our own children, you have 4, and it's like, is the fact that there is this whole gigantic system where it's like, it's fine. And I heard an analogy once, but it's like 5 people can make fun of your haircut in your group of friends. That's fine. If an internet of millions of people, no human being has the ability to take that psychologically.
Yeah.
And that will be a detriment to anybody. And that is what we're living in now.
I think we're not capable, at least right now, we are not capable of connecting with that many humans and being emotionally attached to them. But that's what culture wants us to do. They want us to connect to every single person that we have connection with and be sad about everything that's sad. And it's like, I don't think, like, we're built to be in tribes of like small amounts of people, maybe like 100, 200 people that you know and you spend your entire life with. But now we're spending our entire life with everybody around the world all at the same time. And I just don't.
We've lost like a sense of community from that.
Absolutely.
There's this book called Tribe that is actually talking about exactly what you guys are doing. Yeah, I'll let you borrow it.
Yeah, I want to read that.
And it's just talking about how your drive to like fill a role in a community, it helps with depression, it helps with the anxiety of life and things like that. And now with social media and the internet being what it is, it's like all these surface level connections that aren't really anything.
I agree, man. I agree. And like so much of our culture is like pushing, I call it easy versus simple, right? Easy is drugs, alcohol, junk food, pornography, 90 Day Fiance, right? Like real brain rot bullshit, right? And then simple is prayers, working out, helping others,
eating right,
connecting with God, all that stuff. The real simple shit, taking your shoes off and walking on the sand or walking on the grass. Those are really simple things you can do that connects you and grounds you, but nobody does that. They want the quick fix shit. And that to me is very scary. And going back to something you said earlier, is about like, we're not used to all the, all the negativity. Well, what we're finding out, so much of that is bots. And that like all of these, so many, say whatever you want about Elon Musk. There's a lot of people that don't like him. This everything app has a lot to do with is like the Chinese app that will control everything and shut you down, all that stuff. But what I will say is like, he's really trying to figure out a way to get rid of these bots. And not only just like whether it's a corporation trying to make bots so you go watch the new Marvel movie, right? But it's also these people who make up all these fake troll accounts to try to just constantly ride on you all the time. I'm kind of over it now. Like I've gotten so much, as long as you don't talk about my kids, because if you do, I'll show up at your house. But outside of that, I'll fuck you up, But outside that, you can say whatever you want about me. I don't really care.
It doesn't really matter after a point.
Yeah.
It's the same as, once you've been through like the comedy and O&A world and everything, it's when people try, you're like, have you ever heard of those guys? They're way worse than you.
I try and
try.
My whole philosophy now, because I went through this very political time in my life where it was like nothing but politics 24/7, and I was like into all the conspiracy theories and all this stuff and all that things, and then I got out of it and I was like, okay, the real message is disconnect from that, just stay aware of it and be aware of what's going on the outside, but really kind of do the thing we were just talking about, is like focus on your tribe, like your family, the people that are around you, your friends, your mom, your dad, those people, and you can affect those people's lives 100%. You can affect those people's lives. You can't affect people's lives
Christ
across
consciousness,
the world.
That's what you're talking about. It's like everybody's connected. And like I've always said this, you can't change the game. This is like all the marching, all that shit. You can't change the game. This is how you have to beat the game. And by beating the game, you show other people how to beat the game, and the game adapts to you. Great example is stand-up comedy, right? Forever you had to do this. You had to work on a clean act to get into the Tonight Show, and that if you're lucky, you'll get a sitcom, maybe it'll be a movie. If not, you became a writer, and that was how, and you were done. Stick a fork in you.
And then they threw in like, at one point, then it was like, okay, you can get a premium blend, and then you can get like, that kind of became our thing. But there was still this TV goal.
Yes, and then Dane Cook came and changed the game, which was MySpace. He started showing you, you could connect with people on MySpace, blow that up, and now you got a career. So everyone started doing that. Well, that beats the game. Now the game adapts. And then the game adapts to Death Squad, which was Joe Rogan and Red Band created this network where everybody talked. They were doing art for art's sake, and they didn't care if the industry liked it. So then that starts to change the game. Ari moves to New York. Legion of Skanks starts to blow up. You got Guys We Fuck coming out of New York with the greatest name ever on a show. They changed the game, right? So now everyone starts doing a podcast. Then Andrew Schultz comes and goes, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to start clipping up my show. I'm going to clip up my stuff, start putting that out. And now the game changes again. you connect with others by showing them how to beat the game.
He also cross-pollinated in a way that comics weren't doing before, which was very smart of him. Because I remember he would do Bill Schultz's show on Compound right after he did Charlemagne the God. You know what I mean? So it's like he was willing to do whatever show it was for the fans.
When I came up, comedy was boxing. There was one champion, and everyone was fighting over those opportunities.
Yes.
And then podcasting came, and we're like, oh, we could all be champions.
Work together.
Let's all work together and rise as a group, because groups in comedy, even before the internet, always rose. It was like Def Jam came up, and then that nerd dork stuff that came out with all, Patton Oswalt, and they're all funny. I'm not anti. That's not, but
Kings
they were
of
all
comedy.
kind of.
Maria Bamford's amazing. Yeah.
Maria Bamford's the most underrated comic out
Ever,
there.
dude. She's
Ever.
so
She's
good.
so
It's
funny.
unbelievable. Yeah.
But that whole group, Zach Galifianakis, David Cross, Sarah Silverman, that whole group rose together. And like now we're getting back to that where it's not boxing. It's like everybody can eat. Everyone can have the best careers. Everyone can live their dreams. And that's how you change the game. You don't, you're like, these people are just constantly bitching about how hard they have their life. Like this whole movement in like, this whole like woke, like oppression movement is like against everything I ever learned in recovery. In recovery, I learned that I am where I am based on the decision, because of the decisions I made and the actions I took. And if I don't like where I am, I'm the only one who can save me. I'm the first responder to my problems. I have to change it. Whereas these other people are like, I was born here and I get treated like shit and this system's out to get me. And why the whole time they're doing drugs, they're not showing up anywhere on time, they're not putting out any effort, they're not working on anything. And then they wonder why they're not anywhere, why the other person is fucking hustling constantly to change their reality. And that's how it goes.
100%.
Yep.
And on that, we're about to run out of time. Before we get to the end of the world, I know Sam's one of my.
Sad.
Is this the weirdest show you guys have ever done?
No way.
I love having you on.
Yeah.
We need
It was
you
very
back.
fun.
This
So
is
we
a
can
good
have,
conversation.
dude. You're one of my favorite people. So
Thank you, dude.
again, where can we find you? Let the viewers know.
Go to samtripoli.com for all my stuff. I have a tinfoil hat that I'm known for, but I also have Conspiracy Social Club with the great Brian Callen, who's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Then check out Broken Simulation, which is my just comedy show. And then again, go to Chaos Twins.
In your comic book, yeah.
And check out my comic book. We're going to try to make a series, then we're going to try to make an animation and see if people like it.
Cool. This weekend, you can see me at the Comedy Cove in Springfield, New Jersey, the 17th and 18th. I also just booked a date at your dojo over there.
I'm so happy you're coming
Yeah, I'm
back.
gonna
You
be
were one of
back
the
there.
first big guys to do it.
Dude,
We're very thankful.
Oh, dude, I love that place. It's great. I'll be at the Improv in Tampa, Florida, the 24th and the 25th of this month, and then the Syracuse Funny Bone, the 8th and 9th as well. And real quick,
Black rooms love you, huh?
I do all right in there. Yeah, yeah. I've always done okay, thankfully.
He's black on the
And then
inside.
the December 1st, if you go, the link's on my website. It's in Clinton. It's at the Michigan at the Clinton Inn. A young boy has an inoperable brain tumor. This is for his family. 100% of the proceeds. That's December 1st. If you can make it out, please do. Clinton,
Is
Michigan.
there a link
Is
that
there?
people can donate?
I believe there is, and I need to put that up on the show.
yeah,
But there is a GoFundMe, and it got very, very nice very quick. People were very generous, and it's just I can't imagine. 7-year-old boy. I have an 8-year-old boy, and went to the doctor because his eye was twitching, and they're like, I think you should go to the hospital, and it's an inoperable tumor.
Oh,
Like
come
so
on.
tragic.
So it's just one of those things that
You should look into some serious homeopathic stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that they should check out. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff out there for them to check out.
No, I sadly have, from dealing with it and people in my family, it's like the stuff that, they do pump in you is poison, especially on a kid. And I find that it's heartbreaking. So yeah,
It really
please,
is.
if you can come out or donate, I agree. Where can we find you, Garrett?
Go watch Dave's show. Go support, because that's a great thing to do. Friday Night Tights tomorrow. We're probably going to be talking about how badly the Marvels bombed this week. Just pretty glorious. It's hilarious. And not because I hate the Marvel universe, because I like the Marvel universe, and I'm very sad that it's all trash now. So it'll be fun to roast that again. And my personal channel where we play video games on Sundays. And we also on Sundays on Nerdrotic Live, a separate channel, we do a Forbidden Frontier where we talk about ancient apocalypse and you know, aliens and Bigfoot and all kinds of fun stuff. So we got to get you on.
Angela.
I would love to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Angela, real quick, where?
Oh, I just wanted to say next week, just a reminder that we're going to be out for Thanksgiving break. If you like the show, please like and subscribe, send to your friends. And yeah, we're very thankful for you guys. So
Yeah, thank you guys
Have a
so
great
much. Specifically, the people that have stayed to the end of the show like this. Like, you guys are rock hard, dude. I love you guys.
I
send us
just,
rock hard.
I just want to say I also have some dates coming up. Just go to samtripoli.com, click the link. I'm doing, I don't know when this comes out, but
Tonight.
Tonight? Okay, no. Okay, so Friday night, which is tomorrow night, I'll be at Vulcan with the Prophet Eddie Bravo, the Tinfoil Hat Comedy Night. And then Sunday night, we are back in Dallas and we'll be doing the House of Comedy in Plano. Tickets still available for that. And then I have this new thing, and I'll wrap it up here. Go to samtripoli.com. I do something called the Revival, where people just come and I rant and I rave about politics, spirituality, and religion. And it's a comedy show, but it's different than that. We're not going for the laughs. We're just having a fun conversation. And then I'm also have something in El Monte, California. But go to samtripoli.com. All my dates are there. Thank you for letting me do that, brother.
Absolutely. No, anything you want to plug. And right now, we bring you to the end of the world. All right. What is Area 51 really hiding? Garrett.
Will Smith's sexuality. Now,
Okay.
they keep it there because they know everybody knows what it is, and it's just a psyop because they really keep all the real secrets under the Denver airport.
Oh, I like that. Angela.
probably a vial of Jason Momoa's semen for future repopulation.
Okay, I feel like that.
You're gonna want that.
You want the
that's it.
strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You want the girth, and I hear it's a heavy load. What? And then, all right, what do you think?
Joe Biden's clones. That's where all the clones are.
Sleeper cell Biden.
Yeah, that's where all the clones
also
and all the
sleeping.
awful masks that they've been wearing. Like these masks are getting sloppy.
Yeah, come on.
Oh yeah.
Better
up with the
makeup.
ears?
The people
Everything.
at Blaze TV do better makeup than these
Absolutely.
than these fucking masks they've been putting on these hot. Have you seen the Israeli official? Like it's not even down to the end of his neck.
Oh no, and then then you
trying.
have. I mean, the Biden clones are just it's ball chins, and then some of them don't have them, and it's just,
Ball-chinian, that's
and
what
why make them all broken?
Yeah,
Like they're all rotten.
Because that's the original model.
I know, but yeah, they really should have made a younger model and put it out about.
What
10
about
years
the one
ago.
on the bike with the young legs? He's like this
yeah.
old guy. And he's got like
But no
20-year-old
balance.
Asian legs, like
balance. It
clean
goes
and
down.
no hair.
That's because a 20-year-old Asian was killed to give him those legs. I think Area 51 is hiding KFC's 11 herbs and spices.
Oh, it's
yeah.
bad.
Yes, there you go. So, all right. Thank you again, Sam, for coming.
Anytime.
We hope you
I
come
love you
back.
guys.
And we love you, man. Thank you so
man.
much. Again, we will be off for Thanksgiving, but we will be back
Happy
right
Thanksgiving.
after. Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a
Happy
good
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Good night.